Hey, it's good to have you back. Welcome to my reading room that I've been telling you about. I have this really pretty flower right here beside where I sit and read. A nice violet. You can't quite see it. And you might have noticed, I don't know if you did, but back here, this vine that I have growing, which starts way over on the other side of the room, this vine grew right through the light. Had you noticed that before? And so it goes into the shade and then it comes out the top again and it's carrying on, going further up the wall there. Kind of fun to have a plant, a beautiful flower like that, and then a plant kind of doing crazy things around me. We're going to read another chapter from the Jesus Storybook Bible. And so I went to where I had put the bookmark. I'm switching my glasses. And this chapter is called 10 Ways to Be Perfect. And it's from parts of Exodus as well, chapters 16 and 17 and 19 to 40. So again, a lot of chapters in a short story. This is about Moses and the 10 Commandments. We are so far into the pandemic here that my hair is getting really, really long. I kind of like it, but it's kind of a nuisance too because it's long enough that it starts falling down into my eyes and I can't read as well. Maybe one of these days I'm just going to buzz it off. Here's how the story goes. So there they all were. Grannies, granddads, babies, uncles, aunts, children, mums, and dads. Out there in the middle of the desert. They had blisters from all the walking. They were hungry and thirsty and much, much too hot. We don't like it, they said. It stinks. And so did they, for that matter, because no one had taken a bath in weeks. Now remember, because this is something they had forgotten, God had done amazing things for his people. He'd hidden them inside a cloud. He'd moved the sea. He'd set them free. But God's people still were not happy. They didn't really care at this point about being free. Wasn't it better than that when, in fact, they were saying they thought it was better when they were slaves. At least they'd had lots of nice food to eat and showers or baths. God doesn't want us to be happy, they said. Have we heard this lie before? It was the same lie that Adam and Eve had heard all those years before. God has brought us out here to kill us. God doesn't love us. But they didn't know God well, did they? Every day of their journey, God kept showing his people how well he could look after them if they would trust him and obey him. When they were hungry, God made the sky rain with food, bread coming down from heaven. And there's a picture of what that might have been like. What is it? They asked each other. They didn't know. So they called it, what is it? You can imagine kids having fun with that. Some mom and dad saying, what is it? And they're saying, it's what is it? But it's a good name for something you don't know when you don't know what it is, right? You just call it whatchamacallit. When they were thirsty and started quarreling, God made water flow from a rock. Moses called that place quarreling because that seemed like a good name too. It fit what happened. And here's a picture of water coming out of a rock that God made happen so the people could have water because they were not happy. And still God's children didn't trust him or do what he said. They thought they could do a better job of looking after themselves and making themselves happy. But God knew there was no such thing as happiness without him. So God led them to a tall mountain. God wanted to talk to his people and show them what he was really like. He wanted to help them know him better and tell them about the special land that he was going to bring them to and give them. The whole earth belongs to me, God said, but I have chosen you. You are my special family. I want you to live in a way that shows everyone else what I am like, so they can know me too. God called Moses up to the mountain, all the way up the mountain, in fact. The great mountain shook because God was there. A thick cloud fell over it. Thunder roared, lightning crackled, and God gave Moses 10 rules, or 10 words, called commandments. Here's a picture of what I just read. Moses up on the mountain, people waiting down below. I want you to love me more than anything else in all the world. And know at the same time that I love you too, God told them. That's the most important thing of all. God gave them other rules like don't make yourselves pretend gods, don't kill people, or steal, or lie. The rules showed God's people how to live and how to be close to him and how to be happy. They also made it possible for God, because God is pure and holy, to be close to the people. If they were not pure and holy, God could not come close. It would be dangerous for them. So the rules showed how life would work best. God promises to always look after you, Moses said. Will you love him and keep these rules? We can do it. Yes, we promise. But they were wrong. They couldn't do it. No matter how hard they tried, they could never keep God's rules all the time. God knew they couldn't, and he wanted them all to know it too. Only one person could keep all the rules. And many years later, God would send him to stand in their place and be perfect for them, because the rules couldn't save them. Obeying the rules could not save them. Only God could save them. And that's the end of that story. And it's a good thing it's ended, because I'm getting thirsty reading about the thirsty people. So I'm going to have some refreshment before I come and read the next story to you. So I'll put the bookmark in, put the book on the shelf, switch my glasses, and say shalom and serenity until we meet again.